What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, by now, the entire boxing world and landscape is aware that former unified WBA, IBF, Ring Magazine, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, now junior middleweight or light middleweight title contender, Jaron Boots Ennis, who is 34 wins, no loss, no draw, 30 wins by way of knockout, is assisting four-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer once he retires, two-time undisputed super middleweight and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout, in beating the undefeated pound-for-pound king that he has, that being Jaron Ennis, been calling out and saying he wants to fight, and four-division champion, two-division undisputed champion, superstar boxer, who is the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford is 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. There was a lot of comparisons early in Jaron Boots Ennis' career, and still today, to that of Terrence Crawford. He stands at 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Crawford stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, so he's 2 inches taller. But Jaron Boots Ennis switches from southpaw to orthodox. Terrence Crawford switches from southpaw to orthodox. They both have a lot of power. They're both very crafty and skilled and athletic. And as time went on, Jaron Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford predominantly become southpaws throughout the fights. But with that said, there's still the comparisons. And so Canelo Alvarez is set to face Terrence Crawford September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium. And the guy you can get that's most comparable to Terrence Crawford to get a gauge and understanding and idea of what it's like to be in there, a fighter that switches from southpaw to orthodox, that's crafty with long arms and combats, is Jaron Ennis. And then so we've seen Jaron Ennis has been in camp with Terrence Crawford and been sparring has been in camp with Canelo Alvarez and is now preparing Canelo Alvarez to defeat Terrence Crawford. Right? This is smart on the part of Canelo Alvarez, 1,000%. The outrage comes from, why is Jaron Boots Ennis assisting Canelo Alvarez to beat Terrence Crawford? That's where the outrage comes from. And obviously there's outrage because Terrence Crawford is African American. This is a massive fight, right? And so I was speaking to a great brother of mine. He knows who he is. Well-renowned person within the sport of boxing. I'll leave it at that. And he said something that lit a light bulb under me. What if Terrence Crawford goes into camp voluntarily and helps prepare undefeated Mexican junior middleweight title contender and WBC interim champion Vergil Ortiz Jr., superstar boxer, who has 23 wins, no loss and no draw, 21 wins by way of knockout? What if Terrence Crawford voluntarily goes into camp to assist Vergil Ortiz in the highly anticipated showdown between Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Boots Ennis? What would that symbolize about Terrence Crawford? How would Terrence Crawford be viewed? And I didn't think about it that way. But I can tell you this. Terrence Crawford will be vilified if he goes to camp and helps Vergil Ortiz prepare for Jaron Ennis, because it's vice versa, right? If Jaron Ennis is the perfect person to mimic Terrence Crawford, then Terrence Crawford is also the perfect person to mimic Jaron Boots Ennis. So if Terrence Crawford enters camp with Vergil Ortiz and assists Vergil Ortiz, he's going to be considered a hater. He will be vilified. The whole boxing space will say he's hating on Jaron Ennis and or he's ducking Jaron Boots Ennis. he wants Jaron Boots Ennis to lose to Vergil Ortiz so he don't have to fight him. Yet, as I told you guys, he had two opportunities, Jaron Boots Ennis, to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. And one I participated in attempting to make the fight. So I'm very much aware that Terrence Crawford was willing to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, as I told you guys. Right? But if Terrence Crawford involuntarily went into camp after he fights Canelo, let's say he fights Canelo, he beats Canelo Alvarez, and he volunteers to go into camp and help Vergil Ortiz in preparation for Jaron Boots Ennis, how would that be viewed? How would he be viewed? As a hater, a villain. Yet, there's mixed feelings about Jaron Ennis going into camp to help Canelo Alvarez. I can guarantee you there wouldn't be no mixed feelings if Terrence Crawford goes into camp to help Vergil Ortiz. Oh, it's going to be 100%. The black community is going to be against Terrence Crawford and saying he's hating on Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, I'm saying this if this was to take place prior to what we seen Jaron Ennis doing with Canelo. See, now that Jaron Ennis has entered camp with Canelo to help Canelo prepare for Terrence Crawford, if Terrence Crawford enters camp to fight with Vergil Ortiz, for Vergil Ortiz to get an idea and gauge of what it's like to be in there with Jaron Ennis, well, see, it won't be the same feeling. It won't be the same outrage organically because, well, now everybody will be like, well, he's being petty, or he's just doing what Jaron Ennis did to him. But I'm saying, imagine if we never saw Jaron Ennis enter camp with Canelo Alvarez. What would it look like if Terrence Crawford would have entered camp with Vergil Ortiz to prepare Vergil Ortiz for Jaron Ennis? If you didn't know nothing about Jaron Ennis and Canelo Alvarez sparring for Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford entered training camp to help Vergil Ortiz with Jaron Ennis, what would the outlook of that look like? Ask yourself that question. That's the question that needs to be asked. And another question that needs to be asked: who reached out to who? Did Canelo reach out to Jaron Ennis, or did Jaron Ennis reach out to Canelo Alvarez? Did Eddie Reynoso reach out to Jaron Ennis? Or did Jaron Ennis volunteer his services to help prepare Canelo Alvarez? That's what's the question that needs to be asked. But let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I still think Terrence Crawford is going to win this fight hands down. I'm gone. Peace.